So picture this. The world has just been through a total system reboot. I mean, completely wiped clean. All the corruption, all the violence, it's just gone. The big question is, what are the new rules? What's the new operating system for reality itself? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into with Genesis 9. This isn't just the end of the flood story. It's the foundational charter, the world's new blueprint for a reality that has just been restarted from scratch.
All right, so the floodwaters are gone. Noah, his family, and this incredible collection of animals step out of the ark onto a silent, empty, and just profoundly different planet. The old world, its rules, its entire structure, it's all been washed away. So the question that's just hanging in the air is, what now? What are the new terms and conditions for even existing on this scrubbed clean earth? Okay, so let's get into it. The very first words spoken into this new world are, they're designed to sound familiar. It's a very deliberate echo of the original creation, a way to kind of anchor this new beginning to the old one, before the blueprint unveils just how radically different things are about to get. And there it is. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. This is the exact same prime directive given to Adam way back in Genesis 1, but you have to feel the difference in the context here. The first time, this was a command for a perfect, innocent world. This time, it's for a world that's just been judged and utterly destroyed. The words are the same, but the reality they're spoken into couldn't be more different. But right after that little moment of continuity, the blueprint introduces its first major software update. And wow, does it completely redefine the relationship between us and the animal kingdom. This is where the whole ontology of the world, the very nature of how things exist and relate to each other, gets a massive rewrite. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. I mean, look at that contrast. On the left, you've got the old world, a garden where food was plants, every herb yielding seed, simple. On the right, the new blueprint, a much harsher world where the menu has, well, it's expanded quite a bit. Every moving thing that liveth shall be food for you. This is not a small adjustment, it's a complete restructuring of the food chain. You see, this isn't just about diet. This is a fundamental change in the state of being for every single creature. A new dynamic is now hardwired into creation itself, fear. The fear of you and the dread of you. For the first time, humanity is repositioned not just as a steward, but as a source of terror. The world is no longer a place of simple coexistence. And of course, this new permission to eat animals has immediate consequences. I mean, if you're going to permit the taking of life for food, you have to define what that life is and what it's worth. So the blueprint immediately installs a whole new legal and moral framework for a world where killing, at least in some sense, is now on the table. And here's that new definition, and it is stark. It's physical. What is the essence of life? The text says, it's the blood thereof. That's a really powerful statement about the nature of being. It's saying the very essence of a creature's life, its vitality, is located in its blood. And because of that, a new law comes into play. You can eat the flesh, but you cannot consume the life force that's in the blood. So this new permission to kill, combined with this new definition of life sanctity, means you need a new system of justice, right? Accountability is now written into the code. Life, especially human life, has a price. And if you spill it, it has to be answered for. And get this new law applies to both animals and humans who take a human life. And here it is, the cornerstone of that new justice system, the principle of a life for a life. But the reason is the most important part. Why is this the penalty? Look at that last bit. For in the image of God made he man. The justification isn't just about keeping social order, it's ontological. It's about the very nature of what a human is. An attack on a person is an attack on the image of God itself. That elevates human life to a whole other level of sacred. So we have a new natural order, a new system of justice. But what's to stop this fragile post-apocalyptic world from just failing all over again? Well, the climax of this whole blueprint is the installation of a permanent guarantee, an unbreakable promise that's laid out like a formal treaty. I love how this breaks it down because it really is like a treaty. Look at who's involved. It's totally universal, not just God and humanity, but every living creature. The promise is absolute. The reset button is not getting hit like that ever again. But it's the sign that's so amazing. The rainbow, a natural phenomenon, is reframed as the official seal on this cosmic agreement, a permanent public reminder of this promise.
So the new world has its constitution. It's got an unbreakable guarantee from its architect. It should be a perfect new start, right? Well, not so fast. Almost immediately, the divine blueprint for reality crashes into the messy reality of human behavior. And this divine promise is followed by a story of human failure that puts the very first crack in this new foundation. You know, the story starts out so simply. Noah, the hero who just saved all of life from the apocalypse, becomes a man of the soil. He plants a vineyard. It's the picture of civilization starting again. Cultivation, order, the hope for something good. But the fruit of that new civilization leads directly to this. It's such a short, blunt sentence, and it just turns the whole story on its head. The righteous man, the savior of humanity, gets drunk from the fruit of his own labor. And this leads to this moment of just profound vulnerability and shame. The man who walked with God is now exposed and helpless in his own tent. And this one single moment of private, personal failure is about to have global, generational consequences. And the result is, it's just shocking. Noah wakes up and his response is to pronounce a curse. And not even on his son Ham, but on his grandson, Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be. Just stop and think about that for a second. In the very first generation of the New World, a human-made hierarchy of subjugation is introduced. The same kind of corruption that led to the flood now reappears, not from some divine judgment, but from human failure. The New World is immediately divided by its own leader. So we're left with this really deep contradiction. You've got this divine blueprint for a new world, and it's secured by a permanent cosmic promise. But in the very first family, human action immediately introduces conflict, servitude, and a curse. The takeaway here is pretty clear. The future of humanity doesn't begin on a clean slate. It begins on a foundation that is already fractured from the inside.
And that brings us to our final question, really. The world of Genesis 9 is one of deep contradiction. It's a reality that's guaranteed safety from above by a divine bow in the clouds, but at the same time, it's immediately scarred from within by a human curse. So the question this new blueprint leaves us wrestling with is this: what kind of future can possibly be built on a foundation that is at the same time so divinely blessed and so deeply humanly broken?